The bodybuilder at its root is concerned with self-development through self-mastery.
Everybody's on steroids. Everybody.
Look at the guys in the Olympia stage, and you're hitting a pose, and then you're like...
When it comes to talking about what choice should be made, it's that unenhanced bodybuilding is the way to go.
This is time right now for natural bodybuilding to grow, where everybody's seeing that health is the most important thing.
I'm not a morning person.
Dedicated to being passionate about it.
Bodybuilders have become more lazy.
People have always thought I lift fake weights.
Iran and the United States.
You take responsibility for that.
Was it difficult for you to convince promoters and the chairman to really take this seriously? Because obviously they might look at wheelchair bodybuilders as a charity case. We'll give you a little corner, you know what I mean, in somewhere. But like, was it difficult to be taken seriously at these events? Like, how difficult was it?
It was insane, because like, who's gonna give the time of the day? Because then it's like in trying to understand how to make this work. Because a lot of, say for example, the 2011 Houston Pro, I was good friends with the promoter. I actually guest posed for him in 2009, 2010, and he saw the reaction of people with me guest posing. So then that's when the following year, that's when it was a baby steps. And when I added to the Toronto Pro Super Show, I guest posed for Ron and Jim Morris for multiple years before I added it, because I needed to show everybody. But then Bob Lormer, Jim Lormer, I've known them for years. It's just to show them that there's a fan base, that people will want this. Anybody can take something to the Arnold Classic, but will there be fans for that? Will there be a niche for it? And anything is possible. I'll give you an example. So take wheelchair bodybuilding into the IFBB. So here's something for you. So there's women's fitness, right? Like, why don't the men fitness try to push that division? See, it's a mindset. Like, they could do it, but again, you would have to have the athletes, and then you would have to come up with the financial situation in order to convince a promoter to add that division. Any division can be added, because it depends on the people, and it depends on the promoter, because the promoter has to be willing to do that as well.
Do you eventually want to add women to the division as well?
Oh, that's the big thing. It's like, I'm a big supporter of women's. I love Jen. I love women's thing, and I'm the one that helped push women's figure, women's physique, because in the beginning there was women bodybuilding, because there wasn't the other division. So that's when you got to go through a chain and eventually get permission from Mr. Jim Mannion to be able to add these divisions. But that's when it's like, so what about the women's pro? They see the men's, what about the women? I need more women to compete, because I'd be willing to add it if there's enough.
Got to get the competitors, right? Of course.
Right, because what is it going to be? Jen, she's going to be the only pro, and that's where it comes. You got to have a competition of more than one athlete. You got to have a couple. So that's the hardest part. It's not that I don't want it. It depends on the people and the women. So that's really what it defines. And so I get all excited about this, because this is where, like, I had to get special invitation for Jen to actually guest pose at the Arnold Classic and the Olympia, because I want people to know that women's wheelchair is out there.
Mm-hmm. Last thing, Nick, want to end on a positive note. Can you give me your top 5 of all time in bodybuilding, and why? I know it's a hard question, man, but I'm sure you can justify your top 5 if you can give me one.
Oh man, I'll tell you, that's a hard one. So my top 5, well, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger is like always number one. It's not just the bodybuilding, but from an overall standpoint, because and that's what it comes down to, because like he took it to the next level. But like some of the greatest would be like Ronnie Coleman, Phil Heath, Jay Cutler, and then you got Dexter Jackson, and there Flex Lewis, Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray. There's a lot.
It's a lot more than 5, but I hear you.
I know, but because it's hard, because I'm friends with a lot of them, and that's what it comes down to. And it really just depends on taking this to the next level.
Absolutely. Nick, thank you so much for your time. Your story is amazing, and I'm really proud of you, man. And I feel like it's a motivational story for people, not just they're going through disabilities, but honestly, just a lot of people that are dealing with all types of problems. You know what I mean? And mental health is, I feel like, is very important, especially now. You know what I mean? And what you went through and what you've gone through in your life is remarkable. You know what I'm saying? And it's inspirational to me personally, honestly.
Well, I appreciate it. And like, I just want this to go out because I want, like, so many people struggle inside. And I want all sorts of people with disabilities, not just the wheelchair, but, adaptive, if they're missing an arm, missing a leg, or whatever. And then there's the invisible, the invisible disabilities, which people don't realize, which is Caesars. There's a whole spectrum. And I'm trying to take this at the highest level possible. And again, this is what I'm out there because I hope that more companies and more people want to get involved because it takes a lot. It takes a team effort. And, same thing with you. What you did is like incredible. And few people like actually took it to this level, from the movies and everything. And it's truly an honor for you to take the time to do this, especially given a spotlight for wheelchair bodybuilding.